Hey associates, this will be a quick focus demo on how to create captions for all the visuals, graphs, photos, tables, any figures in your Word documents using the reference tab to insert them, and most importantly creating a hidden break in the caption. So what that means is we have our captions. We want to make sure we write a little bit longer captions to explain that story, context, insight, resolution. Use this valuable area on the page to actually make sure your reader understands the important point of your data. So we want longer captions here, but we don't want to have this long caption necessarily in our list of figures, because that it's just a lot to look at, really hard to understand. And so using what we call a hidden break, which I have set up in this caption, we can see that in the list of figures, we're just going to have the opening, the title basically, or a very short meaningful element. But then when they're actually reading it in the document, we'll be able to have the rest of the caption there. And then the videos end with some reminders on how to access the formatting tools for your graphs. So I'll hop down into here some tables and whatnot there. And I actually can go ahead and delete those as kind of that first reminder. So if this is my list of figures, let me give a little heading, the list of tables, that one a little heading. Now that I've deleted those captions, when I update the field, it says, oh, there's nothing there. So we'll just go down to our tables or our figures, go over to references, and simply insert caption. Since this is a table, you just need to make sure to toggle to table so it shows up in the correct area. And table 1, showing the data points of categories, whatever your label is. The rest of the story will continue to make sure we see all the key elements of the table to explain the value. Press OK. But now we see that it's quite long. So let me just go ahead and replay these steps for all the tables. Jumping back in, now I have all my things labeled. So when I hit right click this, tell it to update the field. Right now all of my figures are showing up, but again you can see how long and just really gross and messy it is. And then here I can go insert table of figures. This time tell it to pull from the tables in the label. So it's just going to look for any table label, and the rest of it is coming up here. So boom, that's step 1. Always just go references, captions. Once it is inserted, you can go through and edit these. So maybe instead of table 1, maybe instead you want to call it. Well, actually don't. So anytime you see this gray thing, don't delete that. So instead, maybe it's table 1, and you do want to give it an actual title. Exact, whatever, data values. And then instead, that's what you want to make your story. Same with if we go down to something from Q, if it's figure 3, top policies this year from, and you could even put, your source. And then, you have the rest of the reason why it was helpful. So if I edit those, go back up here, right click, update the field, entire table. Right now we see that got updated. Same, right click, update field, entire table, and now that got updated. So we can edit them and kind of fix it. So now we're going to insert the hidden break using basically control. We're going to hit control plus, we're going to hit alt plus, we're going to hit enter. For Windows PC, if you're on a Mac, I believe you'll use maybe your command key instead. And that is going to do what we call a hidden break. So we'll just go to our kind of wherever our heading is, right, and to home, hit this little P, which shows all of the kind of the marks basically for the different formatting on the back side, so it makes it a little bit easier to see what we're doing. We'll just move our cursor to after, right where you want your label to end, and go ahead and hit enter once just to make sure that you can kind of see where the break's going to lie. Go back to that area and do control alt enter, and notice how our sentence kind of jumped back up, and now we can see this little paragraph mark in there. Boop, boop. So just go down to the next one, same exact thing, go to where you want it to end, hit enter once, go back to where your paragraph is, control alt enter, and it should jump back up. That's kind of how you know that it is working. One more time, there we go. Go back there, control alt enter, jumps back up. Jumps back up. So when we scroll back up here, after doing this control alt enter for these breaks, remove this, and now when I update my table, so much cleaner, so much nicer. And so we just see the nice names, very easy for the readers to recognize where we're at. But if they were to jump into that section, now in the content itself, they can actually read all of your story and values. Last thing in this video is just reminding you about how to change any formatting on your graphs. And so you're just going to click on, let's say you need to change this access to be something different, click on that. You can go over to format, and there's of course all the options up here, but the most important thing is you want to right click on your axis and format the axis. It will open up the sidebar, and this is where you can customize your actual axis values. If you needed it to start at like 100 instead, it will update there. Of course, my data table itself doesn't necessarily have that. Automatic is great. You see it kind of shifts around. You can also have it update different check marks, labels, kind of adjust where all of those go. Cool.